Hello people, I'm Jaby KOAY, joined by ACHARA KIRK.
What's up?
We're looking at the muddy official teaser. It says Dr.Pragabhal and Yuvan and Ridhaan Krishna and PKS7 and Ravi Basrur and San Lokesh. So it's written and directed by Dr.Pragabhal. It's starring Yuvan, Ridhaan Krishna, Anusha Suresh, Amit Sivadas, Nair, and Harish Paradi, and M. Vijayan. Did Nair products come from India?
No. Nair? I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not sure.
Nair is a product over here that people use to like get the hair off their body. Jaby once used it on his face, and that shit hurt. Am I allowed to cuss yet? Yes, I am. It's been a minute. So, there's a 30-second rule with YouTube. You can't say bad words before 30 seconds. So anyway, I just got curious about Nair because the name Amit Sivadas Nair was in the, no one cares. But I'm saying it anyway. So Dr. Pragabhal was also one of the writers on this for screenplay and dialogues. Anywho, let's jump into this, shall we? Muddy official teaser.
I will make you fall.
Ooh. 140. Is that kilometers?
Yes. All right.
Wow.
That was cool. It's very creative.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Between two devils.
Beyond the wall of death. Wow.
I like that, with passionate technicians.
Yes.
I like that.
Oh wow, those are some really cool shots. Ooh.
Oh my god. It's like crazier than Tokyo Drift. Damn.
Wow.
Get the hell out of here. Are you crazy?
Good lord. This is like a lot. It was like bum 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 bum.
Just before pandemic, the last thing ACHARA and I did was we went on a brand deal thing with Jumanji.
Yes.
It was it's a brand deal. It's like we did a.
It was an influencer.
It was an influencer thing.
They very kindly took us out.
It's been so long since we've done an influencer thing that I forgot that was even a word.
It's like, what is that?
Yeah.
What was that like to get invited to parties and fun events?
But we
whatnot?
we were helping to promote Jumanji, and one of the things they had us do was ride around on the beach.
Yeah. Well, they weren't go-karts, but they were like.
I don't know what they were.
Beach buggies, I think.
Yeah, it was a sand dune kind of situation. Like, because it wasn't just a beach, it was like long stretches of sand.
Super cool.
Like hills and whatnot. And ACHARA thought we were gonna die.
Well, because on that specific day, it was raining. So it was like scary because there was the rain. And then it started having like thunder and lightning. And I was like, we're in metal cars.
Yeah, and vehicles were breaking down.
Yeah, it was really scary.
But in any case, that's what I got reminded of watching this. I'm like, I kind of know what that feels like. Now, in addition to just the precarious nature of this racing event that they're showing here, it's being undercranked a little bit, at least a little bit, in order to give it more of a visceral effect of speed and, you know, tension, all that stuff. It makes it feel more exciting, like a roller coaster when you undercrank it, because you're able to achieve speeds that would otherwise be very, very dangerous to your stunt people and your actors.
Well, yeah, and also because it's a mud race, you know, like this kind of off-roading stuff, you don't get the same speed as you do in Formula One. You just can't. Like, there's too many obstacles and it's just a different type of race.
Yeah.
So it totally makes sense what you're saying about the undercranking, because it definitely felt very, you know, like actiony, like I feel pumped.
I feel like I've never seen anything like this come out of India before, so actually this has piqued my curiosity in a very strong way. I mean, it's a mud race. It's a vehicle mud race.
I don't think there's too many movies movies about these types of races in general?
Well,
Are
I mean,
there?
in the States, you get a lot of things. You get a lot of things like this in the States. Maybe not taking place in the mountains necessarily, but
Right.
like I mentioned Tokyo Drift, because all that stuff is like mountain drifting and whatnot. Then there was the Jason Statham movie. I forgot what it was called. I wanted to say Drive, but that's not the name of the movie.
But
where
The Transporter?
No, it's a driving film. It's an action driving film that takes place in a post-apocalyptic world, like very dusty kind of thing. You have films like this in the States, but not specifically this environment, but you have stuff that is similar. And even just something like Mad Max, you know?
Yeah, I guess, but I think like this world of mud racing and off-road racing in general, it's just very specific, and people correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's one of those things where people
There's a
who
whole
like it,
culture around
it's
it?
like a small group of people, it's like a specific culture
so-
of people. It's
yeah.
not something that's so mainstream, which is what makes this super interesting, because it's like, I feel like most people may not be as familiar with this, but if you said, oh, Formula One, at least the majority of people have a cursory understanding of what that is.
There's a deeper element here, though, which is the action element. Beyond the vehicle stuff, there's like fighting happening
Yeah.
as well. And I don't know what, obviously it's a teaser, so you're not supposed to know the ins and outs of everything, but there's obviously some beef to be had, you know? People are tossing each other around
Not vegetarian.
like it's next Wednesday, and they're just throwing down, you know, and they're fighting.
Because they mention there seems to be some sort of grudge between the two main characters, right?
There's a lot of practical stuff as well going on. I mean, you can tell just looking at it that I couldn't. It was happening really fast, but I
Yeah.
couldn't see any CGI. The only thing that was trickery, some tomfoolery, was the undercranking. That was the only thing I could see where it was like, or it was sped up in post.
And the bird.
Undercranking or being sped. Well, I didn't even care about the bird. That was just nonsense. But like either undercranking or speeding up in post. It's one or the other in order to achieve a more visceral feel of speed.
Yeah.
Which is what you want for something like this. You want it to feel surreal or
There's so many stuff
hyper-real.
here as well, which is like, you know, close calls. And I think it's really cool that they called out the technicians and the amount of effort that they put into this, because they highlighted that it's 5 years of effort and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, thanks to their super talented technicians and all. And it's true, because a lot of the time we're like, oh yeah, the actors were great, the director, the DP, but you know, the people who actually put together the sequences, the stunts, and make sure that everything is safe and pulled off without a hitch and like looks super cool, they deserve a lot of credit as well.
I think if I had to guess, there is probably some cheating going on in between characters, and that's why the fighting erupts.
Oh, like,
Someone's cheating someone else, like they messed with someone's vehicle or something like that.
oh, I thought,
Or,
yeah.
or they
okay.
have like some kind of, you know, inner knowledge, like insider trading. They got some kind of inner knowledge about where to go or what secret route to take, kind of like Wonder Woman did at the beginning of 1984. The crazier thing about this, and maybe it's by necessity, but it's on hydraulics.
Yeah.
You know, all these vehicles are up higher. And what freaks me out about this, and maybe this is a myth that needs to be disabused, in my mind, because of SUV accidents and the notion that rollover, you know about that?
No, I don't.
Oh, back in the early 2000s, there was this huge like kerfuffle around the notion that people were getting killed in SUVs because the vehicles are up higher and they're narrow to fit the width of cars.
Right.
And because they're higher, their center of gravity is higher, and therefore when they lose control, they're more likely to flip.
Oh,
But I mean, I
okay.
don't know how true that is. I don't know if that was just some lie that was perpetrated by the media or what. But anyway, because of that in my brain from, you know, I'm an older guy. From my former days, in my mind, it's more likely that these vehicles could easily fall over. But maybe because they have these wide tires,
Yeah.
it's not as likely to fall over. I don't know how this stuff works.
I think probably the last thing that you said is more true. Like, they're probably suspended because it helps them to move and maneuver in the mud, but look at the size of those wheels, you know? Like, you're gonna be able to get some good traction on there. But like, they had a lot of really cool shots as well, just like the angles.
They had all of the shots.
Yeah, like literally everything.
What angle do you want? Yes.
Yeah.
Just all of them, all the angles. I like the like you were saying, the salute to the technicians that were involved in this. I like that more, and they still did it a little bit where they said like the DP and this person and this person. I'm like, whether you like it or not, filmmakers, no one cares about anybody except for the actors and the director.
Yeah.
They don't really care about the writers. They don't really care about anyone below the line.
Yeah.
Or the producer. They just care about the actors and the director. Those are the two people that get the most praise and love. And it's like no matter how much you put in the trailer, those are the people that are going to get the most attention. To call out the technicians, it's just a general, praising of the technicians. I'm like, that sticks out to me more than trying to put someone's name in my face. A name I'm not going to remember. This person wrote it. This person was the producer, and I'm like, that doesn't mean much to me unless you're Jerry Bruckheimer or Michael Bay or Spielberg. Like, that's not going to stick in my head. But also, I'm an American, so it's a little bit different. But in any case, I like that they did that. I like that they called it the technicians because that's really. It's sweet,
Cool.
It's very nice. I mean, then they also mentioned that it took 5 years to get this thing done, which to me speaks to the notion that so much of this was practical and the director was passionate about getting this done a particular way rather than cheating with a buttload of CGI.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah. So I feel like, much in the same way that you'd want to watch something like, I don't know, The Raid or whatever. It's just like that visceral feeling of knowing that this is real, or at least done by the actual people. When you watch something like The Matrix, you know that those fight scenes are done by the actors because they trained for months. Sometimes there's, a double in there, but most of the time it's actually them. I think there's something exciting about that when it's actual people, when you know it's actual practical stuff. I'm trying to think about the action movie that we saw not too long ago where they actually did like real stuff. And
we just watched The Raid.
Not just but like a vehicle-based film. Like if you watch the first
Baby Driver.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's a great example. Baby Driver, like you see the stunt work. There is some CGI in there.
Yeah, of course.
But it's not the stunt driving that's CGI. It's the props around him.
Yeah, it's like the scenery and stuff. But like all the driving is real.
Yeah, that's a great example. Thank you.
This looks like it's all on location, like in the jungle. That's wild.
Yeah. Anyway, cool.